Well, hi everybody. I am in Minnesota. I believe this place is called Lake City, and it is right south of St. Paul, right along the Mississippi River. I'm at a rest stop. I'm parked here for the night, and this is a really nice rest stop. Now, I think I was here a couple months ago, and this whole area was flooded. I mean, it had water that went all the way up to where the trucks were parked. So it looks like all the water finally went down, and it is really beautiful out here. And we actually have a fisherman out here, and I thought I'd just show a little video of him fishing. He was talking to himself a little bit ago, but maybe he knows I'm here now, so he's not saying anything. I was wondering what he was talking about, though. You know, if he was maybe talking to the fish, you know, like, "Hey, fish, I got a nice worm for you to eat. Why don't you come and take a nibble?" You know, the scenery here, it's so beautiful. If you just look at this lake. Now, I'm not sure if this is part of the Mississippi River. I think it is. So, my question for all of you out there is, what do you see when you see this this older fellow out here fishing? I see a guy who is out there enjoying life, enjoying this beautiful water and the beautiful nature. This guy might be the smartest man on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. So, what do you see when you look at me? You see an old guy that probably needs to lose a few pounds? Yeah, I do. Maybe a crazy old man truck driver. Is that what you see? You know, maybe even kind of think I'm kind of goofy. Yeah, I've had a few people think that too. What if I told you that back when I was 18 years old, I played on my varsity high school hockey team, and then I went on to play college hockey at University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. What if I told you that approximately 12 or 13 years later, I was married with kids, and I wound up playing on a semi-professional hockey team. I wasn't as fast as I used to be, so I was put on defense for a team in Waupun, Wisconsin called the Waupun Wolves. And that was me right there. I was playing hockey with kids that whose parents were just maybe 1 or 2 years younger than I was. But that was me out there. And then during the course of my life, for about 20 years, I served as a volunteer firefighter with a bunch of great men and women in my local community, Lowell, Reeseville, and Kleiman, Wisconsin. And then somewhere during that time, I wasn't playing hockey anymore, and I was raising my kids, and I was working as a semi-truck driver, and I put on a lot of weight, and my wife left me, actually telling me that no one would ever find me attractive. And that was enough to piss me off, because after the divorce, so I went on an exercise program and lost all that weight, and like I did when I used to play hockey and when I used to referee high school hockey. And this was me after my divorce. My goal at that point in my life was to run a half marathon, which I did do. You can even see I have my University of Wisconsin Eau Claire hockey hat on. And then some lady I was dating at that time, after my wife left me, told me, she said, you know, I think you'd look good wearing a beard. And so I started growing a beard. And now it's been many, many, many years later. And yeah, I think I have a lot to say about life, because I've done a lot of interesting things. I've lived in 7 different states. I worked for a whole bunch of different companies and have done a whole bunch of different jobs. I've worked everywhere from grunt work to being a foreman to being a salesman to being a general manager. I've done a lot of things in the course of my life. Then got married, raised my kids, and then went through a divorce. Had to start all over again, lost a crap load of weight, and I don't know, now I'm back to living life again. But if there's one thing I know, the secret to life, the secret to enjoying life, is to never stop challenging yourself. And that's where I'm even at today. I need to drop the weight again and get back to being healthy and where I was at that time that I went through my divorce. And I even published a book while I was going through the divorce. It helped take my mind off the pain that I was going through. The exercise focused me, and I had a goal to run the half marathon and to finish a book, writing a book and publishing it, and I accomplished all those goals during that time. I mean, even my lawyer was impressed. She said, well, most people just go get drunk. I can't believe you ran a half marathon and you published a book. So I'm sitting here with my dog, and I am going to take him out for a walk. But, you know, I thought I'd share this story with you because, you know, you go to college, and I got a degree in business administration, but college can only prepare you for so much, and then you get out in the real world, and there's a lot of things that you only learn by being out in the actual business world. And I had an interesting career I went through. I was working for a tire recycling, waste tire recycling company called National Tire Services, and I had been. They had 7 branches across the country and 7 different states, and I was kind of the gopher. They, at the time I was single, and so they liked me, and they trained me to get a, after I got my college degree, they trained me to get a CDL. So I had my CDL, so I could drive truck, and I knew how to run all the equipment because I had worked in that field, and that field had helped me pay for my education. And I knew all the guys too. I got along great with everybody that I worked with, all the guys that were there, and I maintained a great friendship with them. And so when I got out of college, they wanted me to come work for them, which I did. And so anyways, I was slowly working my way up, and I got my CDL. I was in Arizona, and they had a division in South Dakota, Milbank, South Dakota, probably one of the coldest places I've ever had to work in. It was right during the middle of winter. That's when they sent me out there. And they had a guy I had worked with. He was a very young man. His name was Doug. I'm just gonna say his real name. And Doug, he was very young. He was, maybe 18, 19, but he was a great worker. He was a farmer from Wisconsin. Grew up on a farm, hard-working young man. And he was. They put him in charge, kind of like what happened was he was working there, and then the foreman there, I don't know what happened to they had a general manager or a foreman there who was running the show out there, and something happened where he wasn't working there anymore, and so they didn't have a strong leader there anymore, and basically they had Doug was running the show, but it wasn't going well out there at all. And no one else wanted to go to South Milbank, so they called me up, said, hey, we need you to go out there and help them out. And so Doug, the crew that's out there, so they sent me out there. And so I had to drive out there all the way from Arizona to Milbank, South Dakota, but I finally got out there, and it was pretty late at night when I showed up finally. But Doug knew I was coming. In fact, I even asked management, I said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Is Doug going to be upset with me coming out there? Because and they said, no, he actually was happy to hear that you were coming. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, this is interesting now. And so I went out there, and I got there. They put us up in a hotel, and Doug wasn't not there at the hotel, so I did have his cell number, and I called him, and he was, I don't know where he was. I think there was a girl he was dating or something, and so he was with her. He had met her while he was working out there, and so I said, well, Doug, I'm here, so let's go meet somewhere at a bar, and let's talk. And so Doug came out to the bar where I was at, and we were having beers and throwing darts. And one of the things that I thought was crazier as hell, my first impression of Milbank, South Dakota, is I walked into this one bar, and there was these, I don't know, I guess there's no delicate way to put it. I saw that there was these tiny, like, peckers, like they were like on a Post-it or something, and they were like pressed up against this wall of this bar, and they were everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And they go, those are coon peckers. And I'm like, coon peckers? And they go, yeah, we in Milbank, South Dakota, we celebrate coon pecker days, and every like, I guess it's like a week or festival or something, and whoever catches the raccoon with the biggest pecker, they cut the pecker off and they stick it to this thing and they put it up on the wall. And I shit you not, that this is real. And I thought, how barbaric. Like, where the hell am I? What kind of messed up town is this, that you guys sent me to? I couldn't believe there was even such a thing. It was like, I never heard of anything like that, And so anyways, I asked Doug, I said, hey, Doug, why am I here? What's going on, And Doug's like, well, I got this crew here, and, I don't, I'm butting heads with this other guy. He's a farmer, and he comes and he works, and we're butting heads. We don't get along. We don't like each other at all. And there's another guy, I don't get along with him, and he doesn't like me, and I can't deal with these guys. And I said, okay, Doug, I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to split into 2 shifts, okay? And I'll take Doug. DJ's barking. I told Doug, I said, hey, Doug. I said, Doug. DJ. he's like, yeah, sure is. Yeah, okay. You done barking, buddy? Ruff, 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 ruff. All right, so anyways, I said to Doug, I'll take all the guys that you can't get along with, they work on my shift, okay? And then you take the people that you get along with, and they work on your shift, first shift, okay? And so, and that's how we're gonna do it, okay? And you can give them a call, okay? Also, tell them that when you talk to these guys, and tell them that they're gonna be on second shift with me, just tell them that I am not very happy about being out here from Arizona and being stuck in this cold damn weather and having to babysit people. Just tell them that I'm kind of cranky right now, so they best not want to piss me off, just mention it to them, okay, that I'm very ornery about this whole situation. And so anyways, I so the next day we did the shifts, and then I came in like second shift, and my crew was there, and I got to meet them. It turned out that my crew was happy as hell about working second shift, because the one guy that was there, he was a farmer, and so he got up really early in the morning to milk he had to get up super early to milk his cows and then come to work at the normal shift here. Now he could sleep in a little bit, milk his cows later on in the day, and then come to work and then milk his cows after he got done with work. And he was happy. It was just a simple solution, and he was really happy about this second shift. And the other guy, same thing. The other guy was happy as heck that he was on my shift with me, and so I got along great with these guys, and Doug was happy because he didn't have to work with those guys, and they were happy they didn't have to work with him, and so it worked out great. We all got along really well. Everything was going well. And then I think about 4 months into this, and we were doing really well. Everybody was getting along, and all of a sudden there was this lady, hardworking lady. She was like 40 some years old. Now, mind you, me and Doug, I was maybe 23, 24 at this time. I think I was 23. Yeah, I was 23, and Doug was only he was not even 20. I think he was 18 or 19. And so we were both very young at that time period, and we had this 40-year-old lady. I'm just going to say her name. Her name was Peggy, okay? She worked as our secretary, and then she would throw on her coveralls, her work clothes, her winter clothes, and she'd be out there working with the guys, throwing tires into sub-zero temperatures. We worked outside, and it was freezing cold. And those belts would freeze up, and sometimes the belts would ice up, so you actually had to, tires would go up the belt, and then they'd go into get ground up. And sometimes the tires would just slide right down the belt because the belt was iced. And so, a lot of times we would stick a heater there to try to keep the belt, from icing up. And then we'd actually have to push tires with logs. Push them so that they'd go into the chute. It was a tiring job, no doubt about it. We were doing this with heavy ass tires. A lot of these tires are full of mud or ice or whatever was in them, So it was not an easy job, not at all. And you know, we got into shape. Me and Doug both were into shape. I wasn't sitting in the loader. I was out there. You know, I let the other guys run the loader. I was on the belt pushing them damn tires up. You know, because I didn't mind. I liked the exercise at that time period. I was in very good shape, and so uh, anyways. I was sitting there in my hotel, and I know Doug. Every night he'd run off. He said, "Yeah, I got this lady friend. I gotta go. I'm going to hang out with." And I say, "Oh yeah, have a nice night, Doug." You know, and I hadn't met anybody yet at that time, and so Peggy was there. She was the office secretary, and she was a reasonably attractive lady, hardworking lady, super funny, super cool. We all liked her, and she had a daughter that was like 18 or 19 too. So, but Peggy, yeah, I thought she was awesome. And so she knocks on my door one time, one night, and she's like, "Tony, can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, come on in. You always talk to me." And so she's like, "Well, I got something to tell you." Okay. I said, "Well, whatever you got to say is going to stay between us. I don't need, the guys in Chicago to know our business, because, and I meant it too. I never told anybody in Chicago what was going on. I never told anybody what she had told me, except now I'm doing it on YouTube, but this is like 20 some years later, so I could do this. But she said, "Well, Doug, he tells you every night that he's going to see another woman, and he parks his truck right by your truck, in the front of the hotel. And then what he does, he drives off, but he drives behind the hotel, parks it in the back lot, way in the back where there's no lights, and then he sneaks back into the hotel and he spends the night in my room. And he's been doing this for a long time." And my mouth dropped because I had no idea this was going on. And I'd been there for like 3-4 months now, and I had no clue that they had something going on between them. That Doug, first of all, Doug's just a young kid. He's only like, 18, 19. I'm like 20 something. And, back then, you just don't really think about banging 40-year-old mothers. You just don't. You just, at least I didn't. At that time period, that time of my life, and so I was shocked. I really was. And she says, "Me and Doug have been fighting lately, and I just, I can't. I don't want to be on his shift anymore. I don't want to work on his shift. I want to come on your shift. I want to work on with your shift, and I can't work with Doug anymore." And I sat there for probably about a good minute or so, and I thought about it. I thought about, okay, what am I going to do in this situation? What, because I'm in charge. I am in charge. I'm the one running the show. And I'm not going to call Chicago and have them babysit me. This is my show. These are my people, and they don't need to know our business. As long as we get the job done, that's what they're satisfied with, the results, and everybody's getting along with each other. That is my ultimate goal, is to make sure everybody's happy and we all work as a team and we all get along with each other. And so I thought about it. I said, "Okay, Peggy," I said, "this is what we're going to do. All right, Peg?" And I said, "I think the world of you. I think you're awesome. I love working with you. I love hanging out with you. I don't want to lose you as an employee, but there's no way I'm going to change the shifts, because the two guys that I got on my shift are very happy and need to be on the second shift, because neither one of them can work with Doug, and they both are farmers, and they both got cows to milk. And so this is why the setup works the way it works, is because they have to come in at a later time, and I'm not going to break that up for you just because you can't get along with Doug, and I know you answer the phones, I know you run the office, I know you do a lot of other things too, but I don't want to lose you because you're invaluable as an employee and a friend. But I don't want to lose you as an employee. But at the same time, I'm not going to split these shifts. I'm not going to, you have a choice. You either work it out with Doug, or you give me your resignation tomorrow. Don't give me a decision now. Okay, don't say anything to me right now. I don't want an answer right now. Okay, because what I want you to do is go back to your room, your hotel room. I want you to think about it tonight. Think about what I said. Think about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, and then tomorrow, when I come to work on second shift, if I see you there in the office working, and I see you in the equipment on the belt and the machines and all that with your coveralls on, throwing tires in sub-zero weather and then answering phones, I'll know what your answer is. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll know what your answer is. Okay? And that's how we're going to do this. And everything here stays between us. So I'm not going to say anything to any of the other employees. I'm not going to let Chicago know about any of this. And then the very next day, she was there. She actually showed up to work. And then it was interesting because later that night, after she went back to her hotel room, I thought I owed Doug a visit, because me and Doug were a partnership. One of the things that I told Doug when I came there is that we're a team. Me and you, buddy, we're a team. You run first shift, I run second shift. We work together as a team. I'm not your boss, okay? We're a team. That's the way I decided to handle that, because I didn't know how long they were going to keep me in South Dakota. Because it seemed like every time I stuck around somewhere, they'd yank me out and send me somewhere else to put out another fire, whatever was going on in their other divisions. Because I was in Ohio, I was in Chicago, I was in Arizona, I was in Minnesota, and I was in South Dakota. So I was in, there was a bunch of fires they always sent me to, and I've got a million stories about all the jobs and all the things that happened while I worked there. But, so I decided Doug needs to know what's going on. So I went over to Doug's room, knocked on the door, and he was there, And I said, Doug, it's really interesting. Last night, because I did look out in the parking lot, his truck was parked next to mine, okay? So I walked over to his room and he goes, hey, Doug, last night it was really interesting, but I saw your truck parked in the back lot. And Doug had this look at it. And I go, I thought you told me you were running out to see some lady friend of yours, And the look out of his face, I mean, he was only 18 years old, 22 years old. Look at his face was funnier than hell. And it was like he knew he got busted, and he had, he wasn't expecting that either. And he was a terrible liar to even, so he had no idea what to say, I said, Doug, I already know, because I didn't even want him to try to lie his way out of that one. I said, Doug, I already know. Peggy came to talk to me, and this is how we're going to handle it. And I told him exactly what I said to Peggy. And I said, Doug, this is how this is what I told her. This is how we're going to deal with it. Okay, it's her decision. So you two need to work it out. If she's going to stick around, you both are going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to work it out. If you want her here, if you want her to stay here, then the two of you need to work this out. Okay. And I'm going to leave it between you two from here on out. I'm done now. I made my decision. This is how we're going to handle it, but it's up to you guys. Figure it out. And so then the very next day when I came into work, everybody was there, and there was smiles, and appeared to be okay, and so I never brought it up again with those two. And for the rest of the time that I was there, because I stayed there for a few more months until they sent me to Ohio, which was another story altogether. But yeah, they got along real well, and from that moment on, yeah, we never had any more problems there. And so that is my story for all of you. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out this YouTube stuff, and I know the video's getting long. Sorry about that. Hopefully, the story was entertaining. It's funny because I really don't know what I want to do with my channel. I thought, well, maybe what I'll do on my channel is none of you are going to know what I'm going to put on my channel every day. I may put something different up, like maybe I'll put something up with my semi truck, or maybe I'll put something up with whatever me and the girlfriend are doing, or maybe I'll put a story up, or maybe I'll write a song about an ex-girlfriend, or maybe I'll do some political stuff, which always seems to piss people off, and then I lose subscribers. But that just doesn't seem to work. I know that you're supposed to pick a niche and then stick with the niche if you want your channel to grow. But sorry about that. I just can't figure out what my niche is yet. So, but I am thankful for all of you that have stuck around with my channel. I don't get a whole lot of views, but I get a few views here and there. And I love to see the subscriber thing go up, even if it's one person. So, that just makes my day. So, and it's just such a little thing, but you actually make my day when you do that. And I get bummed out when I lose a subscriber. So I actually do. But yeah, I appreciate every one of you, and I just hope y'all have a great day, and get out there and challenge yourself. Like even with this YouTube channel that I'm doing, I've had it for a year now, and it's slow going, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And I don't get a whole lot of views, but oh well, it's okay. I'm going to keep trying to put content out, and hopefully one of these days I'll figure it out. And it is a challenge. I'm challenging myself this way. I feel like I've got a lot to say. I've got so many stories to tell. And I also like to do goofy skits, and I love to tell stories. Like I wrote a book, and I loved my Star Trek football spoof stories that I did, and I spoofed some YouTube channel guy that was trying to do an investigation into a case involving a young girl that died tragically. People think she was murdered or foul play. I don't know what to think. But there was a guy out there that claimed to have all the answers, and was asking for money, and I did a spoof on him. I did and I thought that turned out actually pretty well. I've pissed off people when I've spoofed other channels I thought were BSing me, but whatever. I'm gonna he made a mistake when he put out bad info, and I made a mistake for going hard on him. And I'm still learning, and but whatever. He's a big boy, and I'm trying to put on my big boy pants as well. So anyways, guys, and he's got 10,000 subscribers, and I only have 300, so he's doing pretty well. I'm small potatoes compared to him, and so, but my cousin told me one thing. He said, just have fun with your channel, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just having fun with my channel, and maybe someday down the road, my great grandchildren will actually watch this. So hi, great grandchildren. Yes, it's me, your great grandfather, Tony. Yeah, I was crazy ass, but at least you get to see who I was back in my day and time. And you get to hear my stories, because you know what? I wish I could hear my great grandfather's stories. I wish I could see video of him. But hey, anyway, and that's another reason I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just to leave maybe a little bit of a legacy, for my family, my kids, my generations that are coming after me. And I think I do have something to say, and hopefully you find me entertaining, and hopefully I don't piss you off. you know, because I've had ex-girlfriends that have pissed me off, or that I pissed them off, you know, and I've even written songs about them. But I think one of the songs I wrote was "Do Not Date a Zumba Instructor," and then the other one song I wrote was "Why Are You Ghosting Me?" So I just have fun, you know, what the heck, you know, and I try to be creative. So go back and look at my past stuff, you know, if you're bored. So, and give me a like and subscribe. You know, I love that, you know. So anyways, I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk my dog. You know, I'm going to go enjoy this lake here. My dog wants to go for a walk. So that's what we're going to do. So, all right, everybody, Wisconsin hugs.